Hello, hello.
Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I noticed you can't really see our logo because of the light. Let me see if I can fix that. There we
Oh, there
go.
you go.
Is it better?
Yes.
How's
How's
everyone
everyone
doing?
doing? Ooh.
We're on the same page. Yeah, so I do see that Duncan got here really early, 30 minutes early.
What?
Yeah. So he does have a question though. He said, question for my Facebook group, eBay Masters Reselling Group. How do I get members to post more reselling questions and interact more? Oh, that is a good question. Do you have any ideas for that one, Michelle?
Question from reselling girl. How do I get members to post more reselling questions in there? Well, ask an open question. An open question meaning like there is no right or wrong answer, but it's like, what do you guys think of this? And people would probably answer.
Yeah, and how many times a day are you posting in the group, Duncan? Because I belong to a couple of groups, and like some of the groups, like the ones that I like more, that more people post on, it's like moderated by someone. And everyone can have like a goal. There could be like a monthly challenge, kind of like how you're asking us, like, hey, what's your goal in eBay sales? So you could do challenges, some monthly theme of sorts would be cool. And that could get the conversation going. Maybe once more people start like participating, other people will have the courage to ask questions. We should go in there and ask some questions though, Michelle.
Yeah, share. Duncan, share
No,
the information.
I think I want to see I'm part of that group, unless
Oh, you
it's a
are.
different group that you have, Duncan. But I'm going to share it with you, Michelle.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, happy Wednesday. My name is Marina,
My name is Michelle.
and we started buying things to sell online about 2 years ago. So we're going into our third year. We started really October 2018, extremely informally. 2019, January 2019, we decided like, hey, let's try this out for a year and see how it goes. And then it went well enough to where we went into year 2, which is now.
Yeah, and we had a goal beginning of this year, Marina, and our goal was this year is to surpass 20 grand, right? Do you remember that?
I think our goal, I think it was to surpass what we did last year.
22 grand.
So our goal was at least 24 grand. Yeah. So around the same
grand.
area. So yeah, like 2 grand, what is it? Like 2 grand a month or something, in profits. That was our goal. And how are we doing?
We're surpassed now. I think we're at 27 grand now.
That's not bad at all. Oxen.
No,
awesome.
Not bad.
How's it going, Rich? Happy Wednesday to you. How's the storm in New York? Has it arrived yet, or are you still waiting and preparing for that?
Duncan said that is 20 grand a month. Michelle, 24 grand. Not a month. It's a year. I wish it's a month, but we could probably get there.
We could totally get there. We just got to scale operations. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about using your skills effectively, and whatever you're not really good at, outsourcing it. So Michelle and I, 2021 is going to be a really big year for us, because it's going to be our third year. We're starting to get more serious about what we're doing in our business, which means that we need to get super organized, because we didn't really know how much growth we would have in 2020. So anyway, so I'll be working the rest of the year planning our finances and also strategizing our business for 2021. And we hope that, the topics that we discussed today, and whoever contributes to the discussion that's in the live chat, because we are live on YouTube, but we hope that can help us out to perform our best in 2021.
That's right. So what are we going to talk about today?
Yes. Marina? So today we decided it is Wednesday. So we're doing What Works Wednesday. And we're going to share with you guys what is working for us. And we would love to hear what is working for you as well.
I think mainly you want to focus on one topic, right? As to what works Wednesday.
Exactly. So what is our topic today, Michelle?
I think it's more about how to work as a team based on our skills and how to work effectively, I guess, based on our skill set.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and this can apply like, yeah, Michelle and I, we work together and we're very fortunate to have each other. Not everyone does. There's a lot of solopreneurs and, but this can apply to you as well. In fact, when Michelle and I cannot handle a task, for example, there's something that I'm going to share with you guys that we have been slacking on. And it's not because we're like bad workers or something, but it's because like, a lot of things go into it. Prioritization, organization. But basically, I'm just going to outsource it. I'm going to hire someone to do it because Michelle and I both are not doing it. And it's a really important part of the business.
Yeah, so it's been 2 years, and I think for resellers out there might be an opportunity that you may work with another person, or you may need to get some help from other people to grow your business. I think we just want to talk about that, to share our experience as to what worked and what didn't work also. All right.
Yeah, again, this is just going to be our experience. But like, as we start talking about it, please think about your own areas. So Michelle, what's the topic?
What works Wednesday?
Oh, I thought you said it was going to be centered around a single topic, though.
It's more about delegating tasks and jobs and understanding what were our strengths and weaknesses, and start from there instead of sharing tasks. And I think stepping back and looking at what we're really good at and delegating those tasks to each other it makes a team effective.
Exactly. Yeah. There's some good comments, so let me go ahead and put them up. So Rich Thrifting By says outsourcing will cut into your profits. Yes, it will. Those are decisions that you don't make lightly, right? So the only way we would outsource things is if it makes sense. Like if we're going to end up being able to increase our profits because of it, significantly, then yeah, why not? So for us, we've come to that point where it's actually hurting us to not, like, for example, relist several of our expiring items on eBay. Because we've talked about it many times, but listing and relisting daily are extremely important for you to get sales daily. And so that's something that we just don't have the time to do. I tried doing it and I'm just slow. Michelle's decent at it, but she just has too much on her plate, right? So things that we still are doing are like we're packing and shipping, but that kind of like administrative task, we could definitely, I think, look into hiring someone to do it for us. But that's a good point, though, Rich said, because it will cost money. So, you got to make sure that it makes sense to you. And Duncan also suggests hire local part-time helper if needed. I'd come down there and help, but the trip is a little too far, he says. He's in Australia.
Mm-hmm. And Duncan has a great question. At what point do you ditch unsold items rather than relist them? You know what, Duncan? To be honest, we don't even have time to look at unsold items at this point. So we really need to get there by getting some help.
Yeah, and it would really just depend on the items. And we don't ditch stuff like entirely, because part of the reason why we also do this is because we like to rehome items. So if anything, again, because it is a business, right? We want to be profitable. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. And anyway, we would probably just remove it from the platforms that are charging money and put it on the free platforms. There are still free platforms to list your items on where you don't have to incur any costs.
Yeah, and usually if it's over a year, if it's listed for a year, we would probably let it go for a cheaper price. But we haven't really thought about like what to do.
Yeah, another thing that we do, though, to bring and drive traffic to our eBay store is sometimes some of the items that are a little bit lower in price, we will start a bid on them. right? An auction on them. So, and if somebody wins them for like $1, congratulations. Like we're, so those are different ways that you can use unsold items. Some items that we have that are collectible, that are vintage, that are more expensive, we don't mind that they don't sell, because those are slower to sell, right? Those, if you want things to be selling daily, you need to find stuff that's like trendy right now and maybe in need or whatever. But for us, we sell a little bit of everything.
Duncan has a really good comment, and I completely agree with him. He says, you need to realize if it's unsold for months, you're losing money on that item and it's taking up your storage. Donate some items every few months if they're not selling.
That's good advice. Yes.
Yes.
That's true.
So this is interesting, Marina. I found this online. Would you like to quickly go over it? Or I can go over it and you can tell me what you think. These are the top 10 skills in 2020. And this is a report from World Economic Forum. So top 10 skills: complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, cognitive flexibility. So those are the top 10 skills, and I could see here like what you're good at and what I'm good at. What do you think?
Cool. Let's go down the list and figure out who's better at which one. Rich says, though, he has some good advice. He said, if you have a niece or a nephew who's good with technology, hire them, teach them the business, make it fun for them. They may be the ones to make you wealthy. So those are good tips. Hire someone who has skills, but they don't cost you a lot of money. Right?
That's right.
All right. Okay. So let's go with the first one. So number 1, top 10 skills in 2020, complex problem solving. So you can put it in the comments. Who do you think, how are we doing this? Is this like competition or something?
No,
or
it's
like...
not a competition, but I think we could talk about like how complex problem solving is relevant to reselling. And you could potentially give an example. And
okay,
I'm just going to reveal it that I am not good at complex problem solving.
Thank you, Michelle. I didn't know how to say this, but I deal with the complex problem solving issues in our business. And it takes time. Like, I don't make decisions without really thinking about them. I put a lot of thought into the decisions of our business. I do a lot of research and I spend time analyzing. So for example, right now I'm working on taxes. So we have a lot of tax stuff to work on, business administrative stuff to work on, and that's what I'm working on.
And that's why I'm not doing those things, because Marina does have that critical thinking, problem solving skill.
I mean, we both have number 2, which is critical thinking, right? So, but we're using it in the different things that we're doing, right? So Michelle puts together the slides. She has to figure out how to ship items so they don't break. So all of that involves critical thinking, right? How are you going to respond to a customer when they're unhappy? All of that, you have to think critically. It has to, those solutions, and it's also problem solving. Michelle does that too. But, those things, you can't just have a template or a bot take care of that for you. We all know that doesn't work, right? When we go on to a website, we have a problem and then it's a bot. Isn't that like the most upsetting and frustrating thing? You're like, you're not going to know the answer to my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Duncan said a complex problem, rice or taco burger.
Very complex indeed. I choose noodles.
Duncan said, why not get a tax person to do your tax stuff? Yes, we are definitely getting a tax person to do our tax stuff. Definitely doing research on that. But yeah, I also know we still need to get organized, because I want to get to the point in our business where every single thing is accounted for. We're not there yet. We're messy. I'm still going through and changing You know, we have like our personal information on a lot of business stuff that should have our business information. So I'm still going in doing those things, Duncan. So literally, this is just one of those, you know, when you start selling, you know, you think like, okay, I'm going to buy some things to sell online. You don't think it's going to grow into this business, like a full-blown business where we need to catch up now. We're playing catch up. So Rich has a comment. He said, I also deal with complex problem solving and critical selling issues to retain customers. You only get one chance to make a first impression, which will make or break both the business and reputation. Those are excellent tips. Keep them coming. Duncan and Rich, thank you so much.
You know what's interesting is that like these 10 skills you could apply to any businesses. It's not just reselling. But I think, you know, for the people who are listening, who are watching, are in the reselling game, I'm just, you know, I didn't realize these skills are part of our business.
They are, yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yes.
Creativity. So what can you think of in terms of when do you need to be creative when reselling?
I have to say, when it comes to creativity, you're the one that uses that, I feel like, more than I do in our business, because you create the slides that we use for our Instagram, for our webinars, for our YouTube lives. So, and you make them look very beautiful. And so that's like a big creative thing that you do. I don't know what I contribute that's super creative, to be honest.
But creative is not really related to art too. It's creativity on how to talk to your customer to make sure they're happy. You know, with upset customers, you got to be creative to make them happy, right?
That's true. Yeah. And I do have to say, you know, Michelle does like all the beautiful artwork. And then I come up with some content. So I'm more creative in that sense, like with words, I guess you can say. And I'm thinking of like, yeah, some of our products and stuff, it involves a lot of creativity because some of our products have come from our head, right, Michelle? Actually, quite a bit of our products. And so, yeah, so we don't disclose, like there's some stuff we cannot disclose that we're selling just due to competition reasons. So we disclose like a side of our business when we do the lives and when we show the what's sold on Mondays. But we actually have another business that we don't disclose the numbers on. Actually, a couple of different stores that we don't disclose numbers on. Isn't that right, Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But anyway, creativity, when you're creating a product, let's say from scratch, that requires creativity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And the next one is people management. So I would apply that to you because you seem to you know, you're in charge of like most of the operations of the business and you manage me in some way.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, this is something that I have experience with though in prior jobs. So I think it just comes a little bit more naturally. And my way of management is very it really just depends on the people, right? So if somebody is good like at being an independent worker, that's awesome, right? Because I remember like when I was managing other people, there's people who they don't have to be reminded what to do. They just know what to do. And when they're finished, they come and ask, do you need help with anything else, right? So that's really cool. But then there's also like, you know, some people that need guidance, like regular guidance on, you know, on what to do next, right? Or what to do each day. But Duncan has a question. He says, do you record your sales on a spreadsheet daily? Michelle, do you know?
Do you record not daily. I do it weekly, Duncan. And the cost of goods, we do record those as well. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so we're doing something right. And that would be Michelle doing that. So that requires critical thinking, I think, which was number 2.
Yep.
Okay, so people management, great. Number 5, coordinating with others.
That's more like a communication skill, right?
Yeah.
And then emotional intelligence. I need your help on defining that.
Well, I think we just kind of like went too quickly over number 5, the coordinating with others. Again, Duncan and Rich, since you guys are active in the chat, if you have any examples, let us know. But I think like Michelle and I, we do that in reselling. When, we have busy jobs, busy lives. So we need to coordinate when we meet with the buyer in person. Who's going to go? When something sells, that one we coordinated already. So when something sells, Michelle locates the item in our storage, she ships it out. But when it's like an unexpected situation where someone wants to meet us in person, right, where we don't have a set time where we're like shipping items and putting them out, sending them off, because that's like the same time every day, then we have to coordinate. Or sometimes Michelle will be outsourcing and I'm finding the items for her to pick up. So Michelle and I have to coordinate. Okay, go to this house next, right?
That's true.
Or she'll let me know I'm going here next. And that happens often. Often I'm driving around, Michelle will say, oh, I've already talked to this person. You're going to go pick up one of their items. So coordinating with others is, especially when you have help or you have like a partners or whatever, it's really important.
That's right.
So we have one here by Rich. He said, in reselling, you're coordinating with others. There you go.
Yeah.
A couple more tips though is he said, and Rich has a security business, so he has experience working with having employees. He said also you need motivated people who will work fast. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And there was another comment that was really interesting from Duncan, who said, just make sure that when you hire someone that they don't steal your business ideas.
See, that one is tricky.
Yes, it is.
That one, you don't know when you can trust someone or when you don't, because if you don't know the person, it's almost impossible to not, like, it's almost like you can't share any information with them if you don't trust them. I don't.
Yeah. So but thankfully now we're at the point now, like for example, if you're selling on eBay and Amazon are aware of that. They have a lot of big companies that are selling on there. And they're now, if you want to give an employee access to eBay and Amazon, they can create their own account on there and they don't have access to like your bank account. So isn't that awesome? So,
yeah.
So no, but yeah, totally true. You do have to still be careful no matter what, right?
Yes.
So that was a good comment from Duncan. And then what else do we have here? There's quite a bit of comments. Duncan wants to know what's our other secret online business.
It's a secret.
Yes. Rich said, for me, it's very easy as a people person and as a person who spent many years in emergency services and retail. Yeah, people are awesome. Really, really cool. And I love doing business with people. Rich said, good point, Duncan. I will add to that. Just give your help information that they need to know, not the whole plan. Okay, thank you, Rich and Duncan. You guys are on a roll.
Okay, what about emotional intelligence? Why do you need that in reselling? How does that work for reselling?
Yeah. Have you been able to identify where that would work in reselling, Michelle?
Gauging the customer, that would be my guess. What do you think? Trying to see what the customer thinks and how, and negotiation, I guess, is tying to emotional intelligence.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, reading people, 100%, right? So whether they're trying to buy an item from you, whether they're complaining about something, a need wasn't met. But honestly, I think with customer service, you need a lot of emotional intelligence. I think, and we talked about this recently, because if you're not using, like, we all have emotional intelligence, but the point is like using it, right? And in the workplace, in reselling. And so when you have situations where you have to deal with a lot of customer service, okay, Duncan, we'll tell you the secret. I think we've already said it. If you guys go back and listen to some past episodes, I think we've given you hints before. But anyway, when you're doing big volumes in sales, and and I don't know, Duncan, if that's what you are doing. But you need to handle customer service, and that's your number one thing. If you don't handle customer service, you're going to have a lot of returns, right? Which means you're going to lose money from all of those returns. So we've been able to change so many customers' minds who have come to us with a complaint just by how we respond in customer service. So we recently had a a situation. I think maybe we talked about it recently, but a customer complained that there was a piece missing in their item. Well, it turns out there was not a piece missing in the item, but the customer, for whatever reason, assumed that this piece should have been included in the item sold. Well, guess what? We did not focus on being right or anything like that. But we did let them know that, hey, customer, we're sorry that you are experiencing this. That the item did not meet your expectations. So we have some empathy, and we say, in this item here in the description, it does say it doesn't include this piece. However, we are more than happy to locate that piece for you, and we will send it to you free of charge to you. So that is like, we could have been answering like in an upset manner, or been like, hey, we're right, you're wrong. But instead, what our goal is we want happy customers, right? We want someone to have a good experience. We don't always buy the missing pieces for the customer, but in this situation we did, right? There's other situations where we just say, hey, I'm sorry, it's not included. And in those situations, we cannot afford to buy the piece, right? So if we can afford it, we'll do it.
Yeah, I have another example, and Rich has a really good comment, which we're going to go into. Another example is today I sold a walker. And so basically somebody wants to buy a walker for his mother. And we actually had two in hand. One is purple, one is blue. But the blue one had a basket in it. So the buyer said, can I see both? So I went to see him. And I showed both of them, and he mentioned, oh, my mom's 91 and her favorite color is purple. And he wanted to get the blue one, because it has a basket. And it turned out that he also wanted to get the purple one. So I cut a deal with him. And, that's obviously emotional intelligence. That's when that happens. And he purchased both of them. What do you think?
Good job. That's awesome. That's a great example, Michelle. Yeah. And in sales, you have to use your emotional intelligence 100%. And you did that. And I was like, oh man, good job.
And you only needed one.
Yeah. That's being a really good salesperson. But I'm sure you gave him a great deal too. And that's why he went for the, the items.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So definitely that was a great example. Thanks for sharing it. Rich has a good idea for if you're selling online to meet in person. He said that you can advertise a pickup date. That's a pretty good idea. Like, hey, I do pickups on this day, on Saturday, for example, or something. That's really great. I like that. And then Michelle said,
me?
See here. Or yeah, you said that Rich had a good comment, so I'm going to show that one there.
Yeah, he said you have to be careful with emotional intelligence. It's just business, and you can't let them get over on you. Sometimes you have to be stern and don't give in. Once you give in, you will look weak. I agree with you. I think our perspective of emotional intelligence is understanding like how the customer feel and giving them what they want. But sometimes I still make decisions based on my emotions as well. So completely agree with you that there is a fine line.
Yeah, I like that comment. It's true. You can't let someone step all over you. When we go above and beyond in that way, we're hoping to make someone's day, right? And it doesn't always happen. Some people just want to be cranky and then you're being all happy and cheery back, and they don't want to have anything to do with you. So at least this one customer, we were being so nice and maybe too nice to the customer that they just stop talking to us. And you know what? The point though isn't we don't want anything in return. We just want to make our customers happy. And it doesn't matter if they don't respond to our kindness. It's okay.
Yep. What about okay, let's move on to judgment and decision making. Now I'm very weak on that. I can't make a decision easily, so that's on Marina.
Yeah, I think these are like traits again that you can develop, but some of these are like, you know, even a personality. Like sometimes some personalities just have some stronger areas than others. For me, I've always been given a lot of responsibility at a very young age from my parents. So I'm extremely comfortable with, okay, and then to add to that, I have an analytical personality. So I'm extremely comfortable when it comes to decision making and, you know, and logic and things like that. Again, my parents, when I was just a little girl, they gave me so much responsibility. I could tell you guys stories, but anyway, I'm much older now, and I just feel comfortable in the area.
And I do think like with judgment and decision making, when you go sourcing, that's like a key skill you gotta have, right? You gotta make sure you gotta judge and make a decision. Is this a good product to buy? So I have some of those, and you have some of those too in that case, sourcing.
Definitely. Okay. So, so we have some comments here. Yes. Rich said, Michelle, that was awesome. That was deal making, not emotional intelligence. Of course, you know, it's going to go hand in hand. A really good tip from Duncan during this time right now is that he said the first thing that he does is warn buyers of shipping delays since he has worldwide buyers. He said he sent one off to Russia today and told him of the delays. I think that's a great tip right now. You know, with the really busy times, we should probably send, and that's good for customer service too, right? Send a message after someone buys, thanking them for their purchase, letting them know that there's possible shipping delays, just to set expectations. Excellent tip. Thank you, Duncan.
Speaking of customer service, the next skill is service orientation. Super important in reselling.
100%. Yeah. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. So number 9, negotiation. You touched on it a little bit.
Yep.
That's a good skill.
For me, it's a difficult skill to gain. I don't know why, but you know, when you go garage selling or estate sale, you got to find a way to negotiate to make sure that, you know, you get the most out of it. And Marina has some skills on that. She has some tactics and strategies to negotiate, but for me, I'm pretty easy. I just accept whatever I get.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think you're pretty good at negotiating too, because I'm the kind of person, I'm horrible at buying things, because since, you know, we're sellers, I want people to pay, you know, what the market value of our items, not try to like lowball us, right? So I feel, you know, I feel bad. Like, I don't feel bad. I don't want to give a seller $1 for something. If they say it's $5, I'll just pay the $5. I mean, I'm not going to try to penny pinch when I'm buying something I already know I have a good value.
Yeah.
I don't pay. I just take it.
So. Well, the thing is with my negotiation skill, it's almost like it's offensive, because if someone's selling something for like $100, I would say 40, you know? So I don't think that's good either, but sometimes, you know, you never know.
That's what you do, right? With your negotiation skills, you really lowball.
I lowball so much that it's offensive. So
it can, exactly. We had this conversation so long ago. We came to the conclusion. Well, first of all, Michelle is a lowballer. I'm not. So I am pleasantly surprised when Michelle's like, "Yo, I paid this much on this, like $1 on this." I'm like, "What?" I prefer Michelle goes out and does the shopping. She's
Yeah.
better at that. But then sometimes she does also let go of some good items because they're not cheap, and I would buy them.
And sometimes I use my emotions and pay for a lot.
Oh, you've done that before? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like some
Yeah.
cool items, some
Mhm.
really cool vintage items, I would
For
pay more.
sure.
So that's interesting.
So
Cog-
a comment from Duncan. He said, "In my niche, buyers are a different kettle of fish. I don't get many BS stories from them. Most want the item, and I get very few scammers."
That's great.
That is fantastic, Duncan. We're really happy to hear that because returns are no fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's another comment here from Rich. He says, regardless of how you feel about Donald Trump, read his book, Art of the Deal. You will learn a lot about what we are discussing. It's one of his first books. I have the book, Rich. I read it. I almost want to say I also have the book in CD. And I remember reading it, and I really liked it a lot as well. Yes. It was very interesting. And Duncan said, I also get 0 returns. That is awesome, Duncan. Good job. I'm glad you found, that's the dream business right there. Excellent.
And then he says, Michelle, were you sending me low ball offers on my old stamps? How did you know? I've been getting a lot of decline lately on eBay.
All right. So I have a question for Duncan because he does do stamps. And you know what? We've never done a stamp, anything on stamps. So that would be a really cool one to do. Maybe we could do that this week. We could do
Bolo?
like a bolo on stamps.
Yeah.
Duncan, if you have any ideas on how we can categorize the bolo, we're in the US, so I don't know what we can find here. I think we did find some cool Man on the Moon stamps though, and those sold right away.
Yes.
Those are awesome. Also, I was wondering, and we could also do a Fun Fact Friday on it one day, but I was wondering, because those stamps that we sold were on an envelope. And I was wondering, do people also just buy those that are on an envelope and they have I don't know, prints from the USPS, like a stamp or whatever. Okay, let's finish the skills. We have a 10th skill, top skill for 2020. By the way, we never told you where we got the information. This is from the Future of Jobs report from the World Economic Forum. Oh, okay, sorry.
Number 10, cognitive flexibility. What does that mean?
I have no idea what that means. Maybe, does it mean like you could switch from left to right brain easily?
I think for me, well, yes, I think that's a good way to put it. And I'm also thinking maybe changing perspectives, like seeing things from different perspectives. That's how I would define cognitive flexibility. What do you think?
I really don't know what it means, so I don't want to say that I do. Sorry.
Okay.
I have no idea what that means. Again, yeah, my thought was, because cognition is like what you learn, right? It's like learning.
Okay.
So it has to do with the brain, right? Cognition has to do with the brain. So it says here flexibility. Anyway, we got to research that, to be honest.
So
but
having the ability to learn new skills?
I think, again, my guess, and we're going to have to look it up, is I think it means being able to go from your right brain to your left brain. So in other words, being able to do analytical skills, but also be able to do creative skills. Like, you're flexible. You can do both, not just stick to one. Yeah. That's my guess. I could be wrong though. So we're going to have to look it up. But Rich says or suggests that how about sports cards and sports card bolo or sports card facts? Which one are you meaning, Rich? Let us know so we could prepare for that.
Great request. And Duncan said old stamps, Queen Victoria stamps on cover are my top sellers.
What does that mean on cover?
Oh my God, Duncan.
What does that mean on cover? Sorry.
I had so many Queen Victoria stamps when I lived in Hong Kong. I threw all of them away. Oh. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So I think bottom line is that, we went over these 10 skills, and it's important to know what your strengths are, what you're good at, and your weakness. And one way you could do is work on those skills that you need improvement and need work on. Or when you do outsource and grow your business, delegate those skills to other people. So I think that's a really effective way to run a business.
I agree. All right. So Duncan said that this is good. This is a bolo. Be on the lookout for this. Old stamps, Queen Victoria stamps on cover are my top sellers. So I asked him, what does on cover mean? And he said, cover is like an envelope. So that answers my question, right? So having stamps on an envelope is good. How about having stamps on like, not the whole envelope, but like a ripped out piece of the envelope? Is that good or bad? And then finally, Duncan said, what, Michelle, you threw out those stamps. They are worth big money. You threw them away?
Yeah, they were all there. I had a book of them. I had a book that had the little like folder holders for each stamp, and I would put it on like each row. Yeah, they're all gone.
You collected those when you were in Hong Kong?
I did, and I collected coins also.
Aw, that's too bad. Rich says you should always be open-minded in this business. 100%. Yes, look for opportunities.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So is this it, Michelle? You have another slide?
Yeah, no, that's it.
That's it. Awesome. Yeah, this was really, really interesting because we're talking about, I think these are like soft skills, right? And a lot of these can be learned. Some are automatic through your personality, but a lot of these can be learned with time. And we appreciate Duncan and Rich being so active in the chat today. And I think, let's see here. Rich says they have bidding wars for stamps at local auctions.
Wow.
And Duncan said stamps on piece worth money if from 1800s. I believe on piece means like a piece of the envelope. Yeah, that's right. And
that's awesome. So tomorrow is Bolo Thursday.
Okay, so we'll be working on stamps, and Duncan's going to help us a little bit with like curating, curating that. So we appreciate that, Duncan. And that's it for today. So thank you guys so much for joining us on What's Working Wednesday. So that's one thing that's working for us is, delegating tasks according to which skills we're stronger in. It's working out really well in the business. When there's something Michelle and I cannot handle, we're going to be looking to get help from VAs. We are at that point where our profits have like increased and we want to like maintain that, and we need some help. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And one final comment from Rich. He said tons of stamps at garage sales. So yes, we purchased stamps there before, and they did sell. So great tip again. Thank you guys so much. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your nights. We'll be back here tomorrow for Bolo Thursday. We're going to talk all things stamps.
Stamps. All right. Have a great night and have a great afternoon, Duncan.
Have a wonderful night, everybody.
Good night.